Hey guys, welcome back to Dmac Kustoms on the YouTube. Dave here in the little back room of the garage. Bumpers. Gonna have a bit of a play around with the bumpers and hopefully get them sorted and on the car. That'd be cool, eh? But gotta do some stuff first as usual. It's not just a bolt up thing, we gotta do some prep and finishing and things like that. So let's get at it. Okay, so quite some time ago I did a wee video on a automotive archaeology expedition on my front bumper, which was rattle canned silver. So I stripped all that back and found all the kind of damage and whatnot, and shortly after that video came out, one of the subscribers to the channel, Rob from Kerry in New Zealand here, yeah, Rob contacted me and said he had a good bumper, or gooder, much better than the one I've already got, which is over there. And we arranged for a mate of his to bring that down to me here where I live in Tauranga. And yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than the one I've got. It's actually covered in dust and overspray and shit at the moment, so with a bit of cleanup it should come up pretty good. But it came with overriders, which were in some respects better than my ones. Hang on. Well, maybe not, but yeah, they're a bit, you know, probably about the same as the ones I already had, which I already stripped back and got into epoxy primer. So what my plan is to paint these chrome with rattle can chrome. No, I'm not, but it did cross my mind. I thought, can I get something silver or a satin silver or something that will look quite good? But nah, so we're going to do something a little bit different with the crossbar and the overriders on the front. So you have to just stay tuned and see what that is. Unless it's in the thumbnail, then you probably already know, but we don't know that yet. But before I can do anything really, these are still got lots and lots of pitting and stuff in the chrome on the crossbar. The actual overriders aren't too bad. They could probably get away with there's a little bit there, but I won't bother filling them hard out. But they should sort of sand up okay. Maybe a little bit of a high build on there might fill the rest of it. It doesn't have to be perfect as as always, but yeah, I guess to start with, I'm going to noisy birds. Jeez. I'm going to start with, I'll scuff that crossbar back and I'll get some filler into that and get that going off while I'm maybe cleaning up this other bumper, the front bumper, and I've got to pull the back bumper out, and that's a whole nother shit fight of my own doing, but we'll get to that in a in a minute, well, in a wee bit. So right, I'll just get some sandpaper and give this a light sand, and then we'll throw some filler on this thing. Chicken wing. Just going to give this a kind of lightish sort of scuff. Some 240. Holy cow, that's actually taking a lot of that out. I might not put any filler in this yet. I might be able to flush this out with just sanding this epoxy, because it's quite a thick epoxy that I used on here. That'll be good, so I didn't really want to do a whole bunch of body work on it. Maybe a few coats of high build primer might be enough to flush this out the rest of the way. Actually flushed that out quite good. It's not perfect, but remember where you are. Maybe I should use a block. I'll use a block. Alrighty, so that actually flattened out reasonably good. I've just been round and done done these as well. They're not too bad, but I think with a couple of coats of a high build primer, that'll kind of soak up a lot of the other imperfections. So might do that actually, and while they're drying, then I can set about maybe cleaning up this bumper and giving it a polish and see what happens. I'll probably just hand polish it because it's actually not bad. There's a little bit of pitting in that here, but on the whole, she's pretty good. Thanks, Rob. Like I said, much better than the one I had. So yeah, it doesn't actually look like it's had a hard life, but definitely much better than what I've got in that one over there. So I'm just going to have a bit of a clean up and organise myself and get some paint and stuff ready, and then let's get into that. Okay, so got those all dusted off and hanging up there and mounted on little blocks of wood and stuff to get some primer squirted on those. So I'll set about doing that, and yeah, then go on to the next stage. So, good dose of primer on those. You probably still will see pits and stuff in this. Might get most of it out. I won't clean out my primer gun just yet. I'll wait for that to all go off enough that I can give them a bit of a sand and see how they come up. And yeah, but in the meantime, I might set about polishing up that bumper, get it ready to go on. Yeah, I'm just going to move some stuff around and get the bumper on a stand, and then yeah, give it a clean and a polish and get that aside, and then maybe pull the back bumper out while we're waiting for paint to dry and situations like that. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? But anyway, I'll get at it. Okay, so got this bumper on the stand. As I said earlier, it's actually, it needs a bit clean, but probably the worst part's the scaliness on the inside. So I might figure out what I'm going to do with that as well. Whether I mask it off or spray something on the inside just to kind of seal it up. But yeah, I'll start with giving the outside a good clean and a polish, and then we'll address the inside part. Yeah, okay. I don't know how I'm going to do that because it's just going to want to roll over all the time. Anyway, I'll polish the outside. Just going to go do this by hand on this one. I'm not going to get any machinery involved because I don't want to be flicking metal polish all around the place. But I reckon it'll come up pretty good though. This stuff does a good job of cleaning kind of watermarks and stuff off as well. Hopefully my bumper brackets fit it. It's something I haven't checked, but we'll find out. Alrighty, so that's that all kind of clean. Not 100% yet, because I'm bound to put more grubby handprints and stuff all over it, so it'll get another final kind of whoop-de-woo polish up when it's on the car, you know what I'm saying? But that's it for now anyway, but I guess the next step is just kind of give this a bit of a wire brush, maybe scrape some of that under seal off it, and I might just squirt some of the Duplicolour Rust Fix on there, because I've got some more. Will that balance up there? No. It's not going to stay there. I'm going to do this. Figure it out. Alright, so you're probably wondering, what's this idiot doing now? This is like sign writing, like vinyl application tape for computer cut lettering sort of thing. So I'm just quickly covering this up. This is just going to be short term. Just so I don't get any overspray on the thing. It's not a super accurate masking technique by any stretch, but it will just minimise anything that I do inadvertently squirt around corners, you know. Okay, so that's kind of covered that up for now, kind of just loose protection, but I wouldn't recommend putting this on anything as a proper masking solution because the thinners will eat through it. And before you know it, you just got a kind of gooey mess that's peeling off and your paint's bleeding under there anyway, because I've tried it. I wouldn't say cheaping out, that stuff's expensive, but that's quite an old roll, so it keeps tearing and it's just a pain in the ass. But I haven't got enough masking tape to do this job. What was I saying in the last video about planning ahead and all that kind of stuff? And then I don't plan ahead. I was supposed to get some more masking tape, but I didn't. Anyway, I'm going to squirt some Duplicolour Rust Fix on this. Some of this stuff here. Not sponsored in any way, but there's probably about 10 kgs of it in this car already, so I'll give this a good shake up and squirt some of that around. While that's drying, I might be able to start sanding my crossbar and bumper overriders. But we'll see. I'll show you later in the video why you shouldn't leave this on long term, because this has come back to bite me in the ass, but we'll hopefully I'll be able to sort that out. But stick around and find out what that's about. Gotcha. There it goes. Right. That one. Tight to that. Okay, so for any of you like eagle-eyed, like people watching out there, you might have noticed these sitting on the bench here, yeah, which are a little cleaner looking than the ones we were messing with in the last video. That's because they are. These are the ones I bought from the swap meet I was telling you about, remember? And I went looking for them with my eyes shut and couldn't find them. But when I was editing that video last night, I was looking at the left and right masking tape on the video, and I'm thinking I didn't remember putting that on there, and it was strange because it was on the two different styles of surround, you know, cast versus pressed, and I couldn't figure that out. I couldn't figure out why I had that tape was on there. I don't remember having pulled them apart or anything like that in the past, and as I said, I was sure I had a better set, and so that kind of prompted me to come and have another little nosy around in the boxes out the back, and ultimately I found what I was looking for, the ones I bought at the swap meet, and they're heaps better. So one's got a cracked lens, but we should have a decent enough lens to replace it with out of the three of those. And yeah, I was stoked that I found those, because now they're gonna fit the rest of the grill better, if you know what I mean. I mean, these, don't get me wrong, I really like the look of that, but the rest of it doesn't look like that, and I'm glad I didn't. I almost kind of hooked into the grill again with like abrasive devices to try and bring out some of the copper and stuff on the grill, and I'm kind of glad I didn't now, because it would have meant I would have had to go through and do it to all my bumpers and kind of bring everything into line just to suit those. Glad I put the brakes on. So anyway, I'm going to swap out this lens, and hopefully these screws look like they will come out. So these are way cleaner than my ones, Probably came off a way better car. And yeah, we'll swap these out and might just chuck them on the front there, just see what it looks like. Okay, so quick detour. Notice when I was changing that lens that there was no rubber gasket for that one, so I'm going to make a couple of quick gaskets just to get that done. My drawing stick, adjust my science stool, a couple of these offcuts of this rubber here, so just trace around. Hoping this isn't too thick, pH thick. So get some marks in there. Oh yeah, so if we go, see where's remnants of one there. Oh yeah, they've come on the inside of those. Alright, how about that, eh? I wonder if they originally went round the holes. So if I go like that, and then should I skip those holes? Like that, I reckon. I'll cut one out and see if it works. So, need a knife. I need something better to cut on them. This bench is pretty rooted now. Alright, we'll just have a quick looky see. How's that going to land on there? This should be alright. Yeah, just got to cut the guts out of it and I'll be good to go. And cut the corners. Will that be too thick is the big question. That's the wrong screw. We might be alright. That one doesn't want to screw in there though. Oh yeah, there we go. Good. Righty. Sweet. That worked. So that's all screwed back on there. So I'll just make another one now. I should have taken a tracing of that one before I screwed it in there, but never mind. We'll just go again. Give me one of these. Alright, cut me one of them. Ooh, yeah. I just put the light sockets back in here just so when I come to wire this thing I know where they are and I don't lose them. Ooh. Double barrel, both knees. Whoosh. Look at that, eh? For some reason I really like the grills on these. The 51 and I think 52 share the same grill. Like when I got this car, a lot of folk were saying, you're gonna go do the DeSoto grill and all that kind of stuff, and you know, Packard tail lights and all that kind of shit. There's certain elements of this car that's like I actually really like. I like the factory tail lights. I've just moved it. Oh shit. What did that hit? Don't know. I was in this chair. Yeah, it's beeping at me, not happy. But yeah, like the factory tail lights, I like the look of them. They're kind of small and simple. and do what they're supposed to do. I think they're kind of quite cool looking, and so I didn't want to change the actual tail lights themselves. Same with the grille. I like the grille. It's got a kind of, you know, cool 50s era sort of stuff. I mean, if it had no grille and I came across a DeSoto grille, I'd probably be all over it, but I like the grille. I like those turn signals. I like those little housings that they come in. So why change them? Other things I didn't like about the car, like the roof height, so I changed it. Back bumper, I wanted to change it up. I wanted to lengthen the back of the car, so that's why that happened. Okay, so just giving these a bit of a whiz over with some 320. I'm going to give them another prime because I wanted, you know, well, that crossbar, I kind of took it down kind of further than I really probably should have, but I got a few more of the little pits and stuff smoothed out in it. These aren't too bad. They've got a few pits and a few little factory kind of marks from these spot welds and stuff like that, which I don't really like smoothing that stuff out too much. I mean, I know it sounds like a cop-out, but I like to see kind of factory imperfections, if that makes sense. You know, I like factory survivor cars, and I also like customs, so I kind of like the idea of something kind of halfway, you know, in between, where you've still got elements of that factory, kind of like this, you know, like in here there's like a divot in here which is from these spot welds on the inside, stuff like that. You know, if you filled it and smoothed it all out stuff, yeah, it would look real cool, but everything starts looking a little plasticky when it's too slick, in my opinion. I mean, I fully respect the amount of work that goes into doing that, trust me, I do, but it's just not something, you know, I want to achieve on this car, if that makes sense. You know, some people might look at the car and go, oh, it's a bit rough there, or that's a bit rough there, and some of it might actually be a bit rough because I can be a bit rough. Other bits are intentionally left that way. If that makes sense. You know, like I talked about it with the seam sealer and stuff inside the doors, you know, I like to see that stuff for some reason, but that's just me. Everyone's got their own tastes and their own quirks and their own idiosyncrasies, but that's just one of mine. One of. There's many. Sunday morning here in New Zealand, and looks like it might be a nice day. Birds are tweeting loud as hell as usual, but just get a lot more people walking past and that, and then when I'm sitting in here talking to a little tripod, I feel like a weirdo. They think I'm just talking to myself, but I'm actually talking to you guys. Know what I'm saying? Some of you guys are local, some of you guys are from Germany, Australia, Canada, the US of A, lots from the US of A, obviously because it's an American car and you guys resonate with that sort of thing. Obviously the custom and hot rod culture circumnavigates the globe though, man, you know, like there's some of the coolest customs and hot rods that you ever see built are built in the strangest of places. Anyway, I don't really know what my point was with that, but I'll carry on sanding this and we'll get another couple of coats of primer on, and then we'll probably just do one final Scotch-Brite before paint. Know what I'm saying? I'm going to paint these soon. I've got an idea. I don't know whether it's going to work, but fortunately these are a small bolt-off part, so if it looks like shite, I can bolt them off and do it again. Something else. I have been toing and froing on what I wanted to do with these in my head for months, and you know, every time I had a plan I kind of thought it was going to look good, and then I was like start second guessing it. But got a bit of a plan today to use some stuff that I've already got, and hopefully it works and looks good. So stay tuned, it's coming. Okay, so as you've seen, just whacked a bit of that wattle black etch. Well, it's not black, it's grey. couldn't get the black. The Wattle Rust Kill epoxy, I call it it says epoxy etch primer on the it says epoxy etch primer on the can, so that's what I call it. I just call it black etch because I used to buy the black version of it. Long story, but can't get black at the moment, so I'm using grey. You can see a few bits that I missed with the old wire wheel, and that's fine. That's just bitumen stuff. It's been there for probably 70 years, so it can stay there for another 70. So I'll just let that go off, and then I might just squirt a bit of that silver Hammerlight paint in there. Could I brush some of the black, and I've got a little bit of the black left that I used on the floors. No, I'll use the silver. That'd be alright. Not sure if it recorded or not, but I just blasted that with some of that silver hammer finish stuff. Big runs in here because I kind of swamped it into where there's some peeling chrome, which I didn't kind of notice until after I put the primer on, but didn't look that close to be honest. But yeah, so I just thought I'd flood it in there and try and get some paint up underneath it, but now it's kind of running. But that's okay, it's behind the bumper. It's just another layer of kind of like protection from the elements to a degree, you know, so it's not going to hold it back forever, but you know, like I've said before, hopefully this car won't be living outside anymore. It'll have a nice little cozy spot in the garage, whether it be mine or whether it be someone else's, for the rest of its life. Probably outlast humans, you know, like we're on a fast track to hell, I think, but as long as we just stick to our own jam and play cars and draw pictures, we should be alright. But get involved in other people's business, then yeah, that's when shit goes sideways. But anyway, I'm going to get this out of the way, put it somewhere to dry, and we'll get back onto these overriders and crossbar. Yeah? Okay, let's do it. Okay, so doing some DIY kind of paint mixing down here. I've got this, it's not quite black, it's actually a really dark grey, and it's a flat finish, so I'll be putting clear over the top of it. But I've got that, and I'm going to chuck a bit of bronze powder in with it to try and make a kind of more bronzy kind of colour, and see if it works. bear with me. I don't know. We'll figure that. We'll have a go. I don't know how much powder to put in or how to measure it, but it's a real kind of goldy powder. I got given this. It's a real gold kind of sheen to it compared to, I got another one which is a real bronze, but I haven't got much of it, which I've had for about 20 some years, 30 years. Yeah, crikey, I've had that for yonks. So I'm just going to pour some in. Is that too much? Ooh. Stir it up. I reckon a bit more than that actually. Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of what I'm looking for, I think. How it sprays out. It might be a different kettle of fish altogether, but we can only try. I think that's what I'm looking for. So when you stir it up, it gives you that kind of look, that kind of colour is kind of what I'm thinking of for these overriders and that crossbar. But yeah, how it sprays out, I'm not too sure. We may end up you know, chucking a bit of the powder in the clear as well to brighten it up if need be. But should I put a bit more in, or will that be too much? That's kind of the colour I'm looking for there. So we'll run with that. Beauty. Alright. Make sure it's well stirred. Okay, so you're probably thinking, what are you doing now, Dave? Trust me, I've got a plan, sort of. But yeah, I've never put that much gold powder into a paint and sprayed it before. Normally I've used little bits of it, bronze, to just add a little flake into things, but that has really kind of made a bronze colour. But man, it's heavy, so like when you first spray it, it spits out some gold. You might have seen me shaking the spray gun regularly, because yeah, it'll just, the gold sinks, and you'll basically, first trigger pull just grabs a whole bunch of gold, so you kind of got to keep shaking it and keep it moving, keep it like mixed in the spray gun. But yeah, I'm happy with that as my base color. There's another stage coming, so I'm hoping that kind of works out. But yeah, I've got this idea, but yeah, we'll hopefully it works out. But yeah, we'll let that flash off, and we'll drop another couple of coats around the whole lot, just make sure I've covered everything, and then yeah, show you what's up next. So next stage. Okay, so yeah, I like it. I just don't know how it's going to look on there. I think I'll like it on the car, but it's only paint, so I'm gonna clear them and see what they look like, and bolt them onto the bumper and bolt them onto the car, and just see how it relates. I'm not sure if it's still too gold. I was thinking of bringing the black back a bit. Might take one out to the sunshine and have a look and see what it looks like. I quite like it outside in the sun. I think it'll look good, hopefully. Don't want it too black, don't want it too gold, so that's why I wanted this kind of dark bronze. I think we'll be alright. So anyway, well, I've got a bunch of shit to clean up now, so I'll clean all that up, and then we'll shoot some clear on there and see what they look like. Okay, so just in case anyone was wondering, I use this for this particular job, this Paashe Millennium. Had it for a long time. Don't use it a hell of a lot, but I do use it because of this. It's got this great little cup. Actually, this little glass jar came from my first airbrush, which I haven't got anymore. That was the same brand, but that got broke when I lent it out. Bunny's Garage, remember that one? And yeah, so it's quite a good airbrush. It doesn't go as fine and consistent as the old HP Eclipse, but it is good for, you know, bigger stuff for sure. You know, especially when you can load up one of these and kind of run a fair fluid through it, if you know what I mean. And as far as the black that I used, I actually just used the very last of my PPG Cobra, which is obsolete. Some of you guys who know what that is are probably thinking, you what? I quite like it running through an airbrush because it doesn't go all stringy or do anything weird, and it dries really fast. You don't have to run a hardener. I think there are other base coat, clear coat systems out there now that you can run your bases without, you know, running catalysts and stuff in them. I think, I'm not sure. I was talking to a guy at the paint shop a while ago actually, and I'm sure he said something about that, and because I was asking. And you can use airbrush acrylics and shit like that, Creatix and there's a few other brands, Trident I think. I've got some Creatix, I've never put it under urethanes and stuff, but I know you can. But yeah, so that's why I used Cobra on this particular thing, but that's pretty much the end of that little tin of black there. That might be going in the bin now, the remainder of that. It was actually a little bit gritty actually, but I've had that for a long time. As you probably figured out, I'm a bit, yeah, I hang on to shit, especially when it's expensive shit. I know this stuff's supposed to have a shelf life, but yeah, does it really? Where did that go back in? Anyway, I'll finish cleaning this stuff up. Alright, ready to squirt some clear around these things, and don't know, but we'll just do it. Okay, so probably go do one more pass with some clear. This is lacquer clear, so it's single stage. Single stage is, yes, you know, no hardener, so it basically dries pretty quick, and you're not limited to like just 2 coats, and in fact you actually have to build it up a bit slower, which is kind of what I've been doing. Oh, little dog's over the road having a scrap. So I've been kind of like building up. I'm up to 4 coats I think at the moment, so I might do one more. I've been laying it on fairly heavy, to be fair, so I wanted it to kind of flow out, which it is doing so quite nicely. It does, you know, with the thinners I can get at the moment, you can't, you know, it doesn't kind of flow out as nice as when you've got like a retarder thinner in it, but I just can't get it anymore. And but yeah, it can all be polished up in that as well once it's all fully cured. But yeah, we'll do sort of one more sort of pass, and then I'll let them kind of flash off so they're kind of not wet, and I might stick them out in the old bake oven out here, see if it's getting a bit windy is the only thing. I don't want it to fall over or nothing. Maybe not. It needs a water blast under there, but I wouldn't mind getting that bumper on today. You know what I'm saying? One more coat, and then we'll leave them for a bit and maybe drag out the back bumper and have a look at what we need to do with that. Okay, so that's the last pass. I'll leave those for now. You can see that top bar still got a few like little dimples, and now I've got some spray marks and stuff in it, but that'll be fine. You've seen the rest of the car. What was I going to say? I'm going to go and have some lunch. I'm getting hungry, and then feed the old puku. Puku means your tummy. And yeah, then come back after lunch and we'll have a look at this back bumper. I had a guy asking if I had a more detailed kind of video on the back bumper, but I sort of, it was all done the way I set that up before I started doing on the old YouTube, so I don't, unfortunately, but I can try and give you a bit of a breakdown on how I made it work. It's pretty simple, really. I mean, I basically cut this off because I changed all this section here and angled this back further and pulled this back and whatnot, so I ended up making a whole new return for the bumper to tuck into. God, I hope it fits. It was tight before, and then I did the rear valance roll pan area, was all different as well, but the brackets, I'll get them out after lunch and give you a bit of a kind of look-see at how they work and how they hold the 55 bumper on. I did try modifying the original bumper brackets, but they are, I think, sprung steel, and I was trying to weld to them, and every time I welded to them and put any kind of like, yeah, they just keep breaking at the welds, just next to the welds. So yeah, I had to sort of make brackets from scratch, but I'll give you a rundown on those when we come to install that. But we've got a little bit of work to do to the bumpers before we get that far. Unfortunately, and it's my own doing, so I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so these are nice and touch dry. I won't pick them up like that. I'll wait till I've got two hands and not a hand holding the camera. I'm going to put those out on the bake oven on the back of the truck in the sun there. They will be fine, and then we can deal with that. I don't know what that was, it fell over then. Okay, so alright, I like that. I reckon they look cool. Again, whether they look cool on the car, don't know, but they look cool sitting there on the back of the truck. Alright, so I wonder if I use this table over here. Now this is my 55 shed bumper. Believe it or not, I bought this brand new, and when I was doing all the fabric cobbling and stuff down the back of the Area 51 project, I thought I'd be clever and cover it up and protect it with the earlier mentioned sign writing vinyl lettering application tape. And if I had taken it off pretty quickly, it would have been fine, but I left it on there for well, it's been about 3 years, I guess, so I'm not quite sure how easy this is gonna come off now. So I might try soaking it, chuck a bit of water on there and see if it can make it soggy, and see if that helps. Okay, so life lesson number 1, don't ever put Oracle application tape or any sign writing application tape over your chrome work and leave it for years, because as painful as that was for you to watch, it's way more painful for me to actually do it. I tried a variety of chemical solutions, from just soaking it to isopropyl to turpentine to wax and grease remover to lacquer thinners. None of them really kind of softened it up the way I thought it was going to, whereas the heat gun seems to be the ticket, but some of it comes off in sheets and other bits just in dribs and drabs like that. So I'll keep at it, and hopefully we'll see you back here when we're a bit closer to done. Aye. Okay, so we're making gains slowly. So far I've found the best is a bit of a soak down with the old water, and then a bit of heat to get the stubborn tape off. But yeah, what a mission. And then it gets like on your hands and stuff. You ever get that, like when you're pulling tape off things like this and you end up, like it gets sticky and it gets stuck to your hands and you've got a big handful of it and you're kind of like trying to, you know, get it off one hand and it gets stuck to the other hand and it just end up this kind of almost like a panicky claustrophobic kind of moment where it's just like, get it off me. Huh? Do you? Anyone? Just me? No, me neither. Okay, so that's the rear bumper, all that crap cleaned off. It still needs a final polish, but I figured I'll do that once it's on the car because I'll just put more grubby handprints on it. But yeah, got all the glue off. In the end I ended up using lacquer thinners. Got the worst of it. Wax and grease would take it so far, but the lacquer thinners got some of the more harder dried stuff out. Anyway, I need a new battery and then we'll get into this. Okay, so bumper brackets. These are the bumper brackets that I made for the 55 bumper going on to the old Area 51 project. I'm just trying to remember which is left and which is right. I can't remember whether it's that way or the other way. I don't know. And oh, yeah, chip the paint. That's good. So they were pretty straightforward. I mean, we got, you know, flat bar, brace, and this bit here is what bolts onto the actual bumper itself, where it joins and where the overriders kind of land. And we do have one that goes through that hole in the inner guard there out to the outer edge of the bumper. Now I'm kind of trying to remember which is the best way to put this on, whether I assemble the bumper on the ground with the brackets and everything on it and then endeavour to put it on, or whether I put the bumper irons on the car and then put it in, you know. I don't know, I'll have to do some figuring. Right, I'm going to endeavour to put this together on here. I might have to lay it on the floor though. Eat. Okay, see that just bolts up under there like that. I won't send it home just yet because I still want to have not a lot of play in it, but a little bit of play just for when I put it on the car, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's basically how that bracket works. I have no idea how the original 55 ones look, but that's what I came up with to bolt it on the back of my car. So hopefully it all still fits. All going well. Anywho, right, I'll do the other side. Right, so that's that loosely bolted together. Again, I don't want to send it home yet because I've still got to get the overrider bolts through there. So that's good. I need these and probably those spring washers that are in there. nearly there. I just got to put some bolts in and get it in place. One. Two. Alright, just gotta, I'll show you where these bolt up. It's pretty straightforward. There's bolt holes there. Best idea, I reckon, come from the outside. Nearly there. Got that one. Got that one. Woohoo. One more piece to this puzzle, which is these two brackets here. So for those I need two of these, two big washers, swing nuts, and these mamma jammers, which I should probably find some nicer washers for those, and spring washers actually. Those ones. Those and these need better washers. Alright, so I got one bracket in there loosely. I say loosely. Now there's a real art to doing this, and it's it's kind of tricky. Now I gotta remember how I did the last side. I'll try and film it, but it's like this little bracket goes inside there like that, so the chrome coach nut bolt thing goes on there, and the other one goes through into the inner gut. But getting it all in there and getting the nuts and bolts started is the tricky part. So I don't know whether this is going to work, but I'll try and film it. I've got to get the camera in a place where it's out of my way, but you fellas can see. Alright, so we'll start with this. Angle that up into there, like so. Jam, get your fingers caught in it, like that, and then, oh, hang on. Get that one up in there. The other side was way easier. Like that, and that kind of holds it. Uh-oh. Spoke too soon. Like so. And then, get your thumb jammed in there. We'll get our surgical forceps. Okay, so I've got that second bracket in. Had some camera issues. Might put a jack under this and just bring it up to where it's supposed to be to tighten it up. And then, yeah, so I'll just get that tightened up and then we'll put the overriders on, yeah? Okay, do you need to see me tighten it up? Probably not. Basically, we've just got to tighten up all the bolts and kind of level it out. So yeah, okay, jack holding this up in place so I can hopefully get around the jack and tighten up those two bolts that go into the chassis there, and gonna do the same again on this side, which should be about right, I think. Right, I'll just tighten those up. Alright, crank these ones up now. Wrong size socket on there again. In hindsight, I should have actually just bored a hole inside there so I could put a socket on that. That would have been way easier. If I have to take this off, that might be how I'm going to do it. Alright, just got to tighten that last one up and then this inside one. Just got to put these overriders on. These have like a kind of long coach bolt type thing that goes through them. Pretty self-explanatory. Goes in there like so. Flying blind. How big is that? What size is that? Nope. What is that? It's 5/8, no, 11/16. Might be 3/4. Yeah. Alright, might just go and get a socket. Be easier than doing this. Get rid of the storage marks off of this, and then that's that back bumper pretty much done for now. The fitment's not that great on this side, I can't figure out why. Again, I'm sure it was better when I set it up, but you know, I don't know what's changed since then, but yeah. And you see what I mean about the fitment on this side? I can't get it to sit up in here properly, whereas it fits better on this side, kind of more straight and kind of tucked in more. I don't know whether it's, I don't know, maybe that kind of bolt-on thing. I'll possibly need to undo these and try and tweak it, or whether it's something to do with my bracket and whatnot, but we might revisit it later on and see whether I can get it kind of dialed in a bit more. I scratched the paint just for a change, but I'm sure that sat in there more kind of that way, so it could be something up with the join being it's a 3-piece. Maybe when I built all this and I had it bolted up a certain way, it was, you know, there's a little bit of play in them, but not a lot, but it might be enough to exaggerate that out towards the end. But anyway, that's the back bumper on, overriders on. Something I was kind of pondering as to whether we painted those overriders the same as what we painted the front ones, just for continuity, or whether it doesn't really matter. I don't know. We'll put the front on and see where we go. Gotta find the front brackets. Hey guys, so just interrupting the flow of the, you know, the first cut of the video. It's actually 2 days later, and after sleeping on the installation of the rear bumper, it was bugging me how it didn't fit. So I came down here last night and had a little bit of a play around with it, and as you can see, that's not actually, you know, finished bolting up yet, but it's sitting a lot better than it was. It sits out further, and same on this side. This side it's still sitting down a little bit. It's fitting my recesses heaps better. So what I did was I took the overriders back off. I started on this corner here, and I took just the corner piece off and ended up tweaking this end of the bracket, that bit there, just with a big spanner, you know, big adjustable spanner or a shifter or a pot county wrench, whatever we want to call it. That thing, forged steel, made in China, and kind of tweaked that out again, and then lots of on and off again, trial fitting and stuff, and got it to kind of sit. When this was tightened up, I got it to sit pretty much right, but I only had one bolt in here, and so I had an alignment issue with that top bolt, so I just drilled it out. and just walled the hole a little bit. And then the next challenge was my little dog leg brackets there, which go from the dome headed stainless bolt through offset into my inner fender. Hopefully you can see that little hole down there. And no, I didn't bore out a hole to make it easier to tighten that up. I'm still going to have to get in there with forceps and things like that. But yeah, so I ended up having to re-bend these brackets here, and so they pushed out a little further, and I had to waller out the hole on one of the brackets, one of the holes on one of the brackets, to get it to all line up again. But hopefully now when I bolt these back in, it won't suck the bumper in against that rear quarter again. And as you can see there, that's where I scratched it, so I have to give a bit of a touch up. I think I've scratched it down there too, so I'll get in there with a bit of a patina and touch that up. I've got one down here, don't know how I did that, but so yeah, a couple of little marks because I'm rough, and so that's gonna get bolted up. Once I square it up, it'll have that, you know, roughly about a half an inch, just under half an inch kind of clearance around there, and that was what my kind of goal was, to have it do that. But these bumpers do kind of like hook back. I don't know whether a genuine factory 55 bumper does that or whether that's a reproduction thing. I found it strange when I was setting this up originally that these, so that one's actually straighter. That's interesting. So that one actually doesn't curve back in as much as this one. See how that's hooking over? So I mean, you know, fitment's never going to be super perfect, but that's okay. So anyway, I'm going to get set about rebolting these back up. So I'll be using, you know, forcep pliers and stuff to get washers and everything in there. I'll forcep clamps, which I need to get out. These little mini jammers. Handy little tools. These are medical surgical stainless. You can see they're all burnt on the end because I used to use them for soldering tattoo needles together back in the olden days when we made our own tattoo needles. Handy to have. But yeah, so I'll bolt this back up and we'll check back in a minute. Okay, so start with feeding this up through here and get this balanced on there like so. And then get my fingers out. Now we need this long bolt. Sitting on top of there, so it's, the whole bracket's now balanced, or kind of loosely supported by the two bolts. Now this is the tricky part. This is where my forceps, which I left over on the ground next to my sunnies that fell off my head. This is where we have to get into this little bit of surgery. I don't know whether I'll be able to film it or not, but I grab hold of my washer with my forceps. Now we sit it up on there. And this is the tricky part when you get the spring washer on. You don't knock the other one off. Okay, too much forceps. Yeah, just a little grab, little wee grab like that. And then I grab my masking tape, put a bit of tape across the back of there, stop my nut falling out. Put that in there, bit of squeeze. I have to pull the bolt back slightly so I can turn it, and then try to get it to start. There we go, I think that started. Yep, that's how we chip the paint. Now, pretty much have to do the same thing with this other one. This bracket doesn't fit quite as good on this side, but hopefully it'll be alright. I didn't quite get my angles quite right. Oop. Oop. Oh, okay, first attempt, fail. Okay, try again. This camera's in my way though, so things I do for you guys. Ooh. No. Spring wash that. Oh. Yep, she's still there. Now I need my 5/8 masking tape. Yeah. Okay, got that one started. Get that off. Do started, eh? Yep. And this bracket, I don't think it's going to fit quite as well, but it should do the job. Right, I'm going to have to get this camera out of the way so I can tighten this up. Basically, it's just going to tighten everything up. And then we'll push it into the right spot and pinch it up tighter. Okay, just a little bit more of a tweak. Undo that again. There's a little flaw in my bodywork. I think. Yeah, there's a little dip in here which I think is body filler, which I probably didn't square it out when I was smoothing this part out. Again, I thought I did, but you know, I didn't notice that until just now actually. All that sanding and shit I've done on this car and I didn't even notice that dipping in. But it's okay. Wish it was better, but it's okay. Okay, so just gotta do a little bit of a touchy up thing here, just sort of create some stuff. Get some of this dark brown, some of that. There's another little blemish in my bodywork there too, for the eagle eye. And a bit of this diarrhea tan. Terracotta yellows, they used to call them. Yeah, it'll do that bit. I'll just do a bit more on this. Stain it a little bit. There you are, touched up. Right, got one more little bit to do around there and then we're done. Just a little bit down in here. I don't know how I managed to bang that around so much, but I did. Just like that. Okay, so a little bit sidetracked. I'm going to put this stuff away now before I end up scribbling all over this thing. Oh, hang on. Just maybe one sort of dotting out there, coming out. Oh. That's it now, I promise. Okay, so with that cleaned up, fixed up, much better. I can sleep at night again now. Let's get back to the rest of the video and onto the front bumper. Okay, let's do it. I think there might be this in here. Oh, heavy suckers. I don't know if I've actually ever put these on fully before. Alrighty, so I might follow this similar sort of format, put these, there's only 4 of those, there should be 6. I'll put these bumper irons on, before I put the bumper on the car, you know, just get all this stuff ready. Oh, she got heavy quick. That's the way it goes. Yeah, I think so. There's the hole. Does that sit on top? It feels like it's upside down, does it? There. Okay, I think I've got it in upside down. Try again. think that's better. What's going on now? Oh, gotcha. I'll get the other one in while I'm here. Oh boy, it's getting hot. Oh, crikey. That was punishing. I haven't got these ones all the way through yet. Oh, that one's not going to want to go on until I tighten the front one a bit. Alright, I'm gonna this one over on the far side there. I can't get the nut onto the back of it until I tighten that front one up a bit. To pull it in, it's like a little bit out of shape, like it's had a bit of a walloping at some point. So I'll just get that underway and then yeah, see what's next. Okay, so I've got everything bolted up other than these two middle ones, and I don't know if you can see what's going on there, but for some reason that one don't line up. This one does. We're pretty good on either side. Well, that side hangs a bit lower, but it looks alright from the top, strangely enough. But who knows, we could have different guards, and oh, it does dip down a little bit more there. Don't really know why. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get that hole to come across, but I might put one of the overriders in, bolt that in, and maybe put a ratchet strap or something across it and see if I can pull it across. Give it a shot. Got the world's dodgiest ratchet strap, yeah, but I got that started, so I'll find my socket, get that, tightening it up. Before I go too tight, I should probably put that crossbar in there. I'll try it. Old Dodgy to the rescue again. Worked out well. But yeah, got everything all tightened up. I think she's alright. It does. I don't know whether these, feels like it's tipping down. Mind you, this tray tips forward, doesn't it? Yeah. So put some tools away and give it a bit of a wipe up. Well, look at that, we got bumpers. Exciting stuff. Just noticed that the Area 51 is covered in dust, which is getting disturbed by the old, putting the car cover and that over and whatnot. But yeah, got bumpers front and back. Pretty happy with that overall. Like I said earlier, that fitment there, but I don't know why it's tipping that way. It shouldn't. I'm happy with it now. I don't know. It's not, yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's just different from the other side. I wouldn't mind so much if they were both the same, but this reproduction bumper, you can see things don't kind of really line up quite the same from either side. I vaguely remember having some kind of issues when I was, you know, templating one side to do the other and things like that, and things just weren't really kind of panning out. So I can't remember whether I thought I'll worry about it later, which is probably me, what I did or what. The front, that's the first time I've ever actually bolted the bumper on completely, I think. She looks like she pulls up a little bit at the front, but I don't know whether that's normal or not. And my overriders are a bit whoop-de-woo as well, but again, I suppose I could loosen one of them off and try and tip it over. Worry about that another day. Probably not. Might do it one day if it really annoys me. But yeah, so bit of a hard hit today, like getting all that done, like getting that shit off those back bumpers, man. What a nightmare that was. I'll never do that again. Never leave application tape on anything for any period of time. I don't even like leaving masking tape on things. I don't know why I left that on there for so long. I didn't need to. Or I should have taken it off and, yeah, wrapped it up properly or something more suitable. Big thanks to Rob up in Kerry for hooking me up with that bumper. I bought that off him a few months back now, and it's heaps better. It fits better with the back bumper and stuff. Like if I was going to paint that other front bumper, I probably would have ended up painting that back bumper as well, which I didn't really want to do. It's a brand new bumper. I said bumper a lot in that sentence. But yeah, so hit a big milestone with the channel today. I finally got into that 4,000 watch hours, so big thanks to you guys for helping me get there. Well, you guys did all the watching, I just did all the work. But yeah, big thanks for watching and following the channel, subscribing and all that kind of stuff. Don't know what we're going to do next. May start into some of the wiring. I think I've got pretty much everything I need for the most part. Or I could start getting into the window regulators and stuff like that. Don't know, one of the two. Wiring's cleaner, but I've got to get into those regulators and start doing something with this glass sooner or later. So yeah, but yeah, hard to get a good shot of it in this light. The sun's going down, or it's coming down against the hills, but yeah, pretty happy. I actually do quite like the colour on that as overriders. You're probably wondering why that random colour there. I mean, it does fit with that kind of patina stuff, but I'm thinking of that colour kind of like that for the wheels. I'm not big on the red wheels. Some people like them, but yeah, I prefer the dark wheels for some reason, but that's just me. That bronzy colour may come in again in a couple of other places. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, you know. If you're still watching at this point, thank you very much for sticking with it and seeing the end result, you know, not just skipping to the end or tapping out after 3 minutes. Well guys, that's where we're going to leave this exciting episode on the Area 51 project. It is really starting to come about, look like a car now. Yeah, don't forget we're on Instagram, Facebook, and most importantly, we're here on YouTube. Well, I am, yeah, in the garage at Dmac Kustoms on the YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Like, share, comment. Until next time, take it easy and peace.